Well, US President Donald Trump is expected to move quickly to sign a $900 billion COVID-19 rescue package into law. Congress has approved what would be America's second largest economic relief bill. After months of deadlock, the long-awaited bill has been sent to the White House. That's just weeks before Mr. Trump leaves office. The relief package will provide a $600 payout to most Americans and nearly $300 billion in small business relief. Millions of Americans could start receiving the direct payments as soon as next week. Now, this comes as many COVID-19 relief programs are set to expire at the end of the month. Democrats have called for another package when President-elect Joe Biden takes office in January. At the same time, Mr. Biden has received his COVID-19 vaccination on live television. The public move is in a bid to boost Americans' confidence in the vaccines. The 78-year-old received the first of the two-shot Pfizer vaccine, saying that he's looking forward to the follow-up. Will Denslow joins us live now from New York for more on this story. Will, let's start with that relief bill. Depending on who you talk to, it's either a relief or a stimulus. But how important is it? Is it going to be enough for what the country needs right now?
Well, it's certainly seen as an absolute must-do as far as lawmakers were concerned, considering the fact that before the end of the year, around 12 million Americans faced losing some form of unemployment insurance. So it was absolutely crucial that lawmakers did get something passed before that happened. Now, as mentioned, that $600 paycheck that will be going to most Americans, Steve Mnuchin says that it will be arriving in Americans' hands as early as next week. That will certainly be very good news indeed as we head into the festive period as well. A huge relief for small businesses, of course, hit so hard by the pandemic over the last few months that nearly $300 billion will be seen as a huge relief for them. But there is huge criticism as well. One major sticking point for Democrats over the past few months has been they want more when it comes to funding for state and local governments. Here in New York, for example, Governor Andrew Cuomo has been pressing for the federal government to do more to help states that have been hit so hard by the pandemic. Of course, they want that kind of funding to go towards helping hospitals, go towards helping schools, first responders that have been on the front lines fighting this pandemic or trying to adapt as best they can to this new normal that we're finding ourselves in. Bernie Sanders, the Vermont senator, says this spending bill just does not go far enough. But we've heard from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. She says that she is pleased that lawmakers were able to reach some kind of a deal. She says that this is, though, a first step and is optimistic more can be done when Joe Biden takes office in January. Of course, we have heard from the President-elect directly on the matter of stimulus. He has described it as a down payment. He urges lawmakers to go back to work in January to get more stimulus passed when he takes office.
Well, moving to vaccines, President-elect Joe Biden hopes to get Americans comfortable with it. This along with the promise of widespread vaccines with Moderna's delivery. How's the population reacting?
Well, we've heard from Dr. Anthony Fauci. He has said, as well as other top health experts in the country, say that between 70 to 85% of the population needs to get a vaccine for it to be most effective. However, according to some polls released recently, such as the Pew Research Center, they estimate that only around 60% of the population currently feels comfortable getting a vaccine when it becomes available to them. So we've seen the likes of President-elect Joe Biden. We've seen Vice President Mike Pence, as well as a number of other prominent lawmakers get this shot publicly. We're also expecting several former US presidents to do so as well, in a bid to really try and boost public sentiment that, yes, this vaccine has been created at an unprecedented speed, but they also say that it is safe to use and it has been thoroughly vetted. So that is the strong message. We're expecting Dr. Anthony Fauci to get the Moderna vaccine a little later on Tuesday. Of course, this comes as the rollout of roughly 6 million Moderna vaccines are expected to be distributed across nearly 4,000 locations in the United States starting this week. Of course, the Moderna vaccine, unlike the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, needs to be or can be kept at much lower or much more regular temperatures when it comes to a regular freezer, as opposed to the incredibly cold temperatures that the Pfizer vaccine needs to be kept at. So the hopes is that the Moderna vaccine can be distributed to more rural areas across the country that are battling COVID-19 to give some hugely needed relief there. But there are certainly concerns about misinformation going forward. That's something that we've seen in the US, especially when it comes to the outbreak of measles we saw last year. Many blame misinformation for that outbreak. So there's certainly a huge push in the US to try and build faith in this vaccine.
All right, many thanks for that. Well, Denslow speaking to us from New York.